In our last video, we talked about how the human race does not know how to deal with their emotions. And there is a way to deal with your emotions that is not complicated. It's pretty easy and straightforward. And if you do it, it will change your life forever. We're going to use myself as an example of someone who's having a lot of emotions and they were taking me over and running and ruining my life, and how I was able to get rid of those emotions by working with them, seeing through the bottom. And this is something that when you learn to do it, you will be able to do it as well on your own. Okay, so we're going to start with me. So the thing that I've worked on, and I've worked on a lot of different things like this that I have gotten rid of. So I had a whole thing of self-hate that I've talked about on this channel that I got rid of. So I'm going to talk about something different today. I'm going to talk about shame. I've been working with shame for the last several months, and I'm almost to the end of it, right? So I've done this enough before where I know that it's like, okay, the end of that is coming soon. And imagine living a life with no shame. And, again, it's a little bit hard for me because I lived a life of shame for my entire life, essentially. I felt shame for so many reasons. So the first thing we have to do in terms of learning about how to deal with and handle our emotions is we have to catch them when they're happening. So for me, for example, if you have shame, which a lot of us do, a lot of us have shame, a lot of us have guilt, a lot of us have self-hatred, a lot of these things, you have to catch it in the moment, right? And see it and go, okay, that's what this is. I think the biggest problem that people have understanding their emotions is that they think that the emotions that they're having are situational. So if Sally is mean to me and I have emotions about that, I think it's because Sally is mean to me, but that is not why you're having emotions. Sally being mean to you is reminding you of emotions that you had when you were a kid. So it's just triggering and touching and activating a wound that is already there. That's the most important thing to understand. So that when you have a strong feeling now in the moment, you need to kind of go back and go, where does this come from? That's the first most important piece of all of this. Once you've done that, then you can sort of begin the work. If you're just like lost in resentment, like a lot of people stay, it's because of this person, and this person is making me upset. And if this person changes, then I'll be happy. That is not ever the case. You can never wait around for another person to change in order for you to be happy. Why would somebody else change a feeling that's happening in your body? You need to deal with a feeling that's happening with your body. So what I noticed is shame was a lot more pervasive than I even thought. Like, I experienced shame so much in my life for so many things, about my appearance or my weight or about my car or, my house or my job or the different things I'm getting at my job, right? There were so many. And that's the first thing is, when you have all these different things that are causing the emotion, it seems like all these different things are causing the emotion, but they are not. I have shame as a reaction to many different things, but the shame is the same. That's the important thing to realize. It's not a different shame. I don't have shame because my body is this way. I don't have shame because my car, and I don't have like car shame, and that's an individual thing. And I don't have body shame, and that's its own thing. No, shame is shame. I have shame. And the shame comes from feeling like I'm not good enough and I'm not worth it. All right. So now I have all these different triggers for one thing, but I have one disease, and that disease is called shame. And shame is a disease. Okay, so now that I know that, and I'm clear about that, now I go back inside and I go, well, why do I feel ashamed? Well, for myself, I had a father who was brilliant and a perfectionist, and nothing I ever did was good enough. So it's like, I'm not good enough. That's the source of it. Now, this feeling, though, is the important thing. In all the work that I do, and I coach people individually, and I help them remove these things from their lives forever. And I have so many people who their lives have changed, and they're no longer walking around with these big pains in their life. That's just what I do. And maybe that's what I was designed to do on this planet. I don't know, but that's sort of what I do to help people. And so if you are interested in individual coaching and learning how to do this for yourself, we can do that. I also have a free community called Unblock Your Brilliance, where you can go and you can start to learn some of these principles for free on your own. We have lots of great sort of courses and 5-day challenges in awakening your intuition, learning how to create healthy habits for yourself, finding your blocks, finding your purpose, etc. So check all that out down in the description. While you're down there, go ahead and like and subscribe if you're liking this content at all. So now that I know this shame is there and I know what it's about, the important thing that I need to do now is I need to feel it. Right? And this is what we don't do in our culture. In fact, our entire culture is designed around not feeling. And this is one of the biggest problems with our culture, is that everything is avoidance. So all addiction falls into this category pretty much exclusively. Like the whole point of an addiction is to numb out from pain and trauma that I've experienced, right? That's the point of addiction. But it also shows up in different things like workaholism, or, working too much or being too busy all the time. If you're super busy, most of that is I'm trying to avoid some feelings, right? So in this practice, the way that you solve these problems from coming up is you come down, as we talked about in the last video, to the root cause. What is the root cause? And the root cause is I feel ashamed because I'm no good. It's not because of the thing that I think it's about. So one of the fundamental principles of our group and all the work that I do is, from A Course in Miracles, we're never upset for the reason we think we're upset. So if I think I'm upset because of my body, I'm wrong. I'm really upset for something else. I'm upset because my dad doesn't love me because I'm no good. And the body thing triggers that. So what I start to do is I start to, on a daily basis, I start to sit with this shame and sit with this feeling. And as much as I can, I bring it down to that little kid feeling and how he felt. Because that is the root of the problem. That's what I call the maximum point of leverage. That's where you want to put your time and your focus and your energy into those areas, into that time period. Somewhere between 3 and 8, usually around 4 or 5 years old, you're going to find this pain, and you're going to find that the pain that you feel today matches exactly the pain that you felt then, because it is the same pain. It is not different pain. It is the same pain. It is this old pain that is being activated by the current situation. And so when you start to feel it now, what you're starting to do is that child who has been in this pain for this long is now starting to finally to get some attention, because he didn't have a parental structure and didn't have people who could sit there and be with his feelings and help him get all the way to the end. These are feelings interrupted. And so as you sit with that feeling and you just allow that feeling to be there, it starts to change, because your presence, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is coming in and is now, because you're taking your hooks out of it, it's now starting to bring spaciousness and healing to that part. And as you do that, what you'll discover is that the situations in which you used to feel shame, in which I used to feel shame, it's like I don't really feel shame anymore. There's something else that I'm feeling, which I'll get to in just a second. But it's like shame is going away. Like that's not my response anymore. And so when you have some of these, sometimes are a bit deep, right? They are kind of multi-layered, because we have several layers of protection. Because I don't want to feel something, I don't want to feel this thing, I don't want to feel the thing above it, I don't want to feel the thing above it. And I finally stop out here at I feel ashamed of everything. But what's underneath this shame of mine is this kind of intense rage. I have a rage, right? There's this, and the rage is a child's rage about being treated the way that he was treated. And so now I've shifted, and now I'm sitting with that rage, and I'm almost to the end of this rage, and it comes up just a little bit. But it's like I'm walking around now and I don't have shame about my body, and I don't have the self-hatred that I had. And all of these things slowly are going away just by learning how to be present. And I usually recommend 5 minutes a day of sitting with it. And we have, programs. We have small group workshops that we do where we put 4 people in a workshop, and they meet once a week for a month. And usually inside of a month, a block is significantly reduced or completely cleared. It's not uncommon for a block to be completely cleared. So imagine the greatest pain in your life in a month being gone, like it was never there. That's a very common story in my group and in the work that we do. And so this is a very real thing. And it's this very simple process of learning how to be with this pain and letting this pain get to its natural end, and then it's gone. And when I say it's gone, I don't mean it's less, so you have to manage it. I mean, it's gone. You remember the events, but there's no charge anymore. That's pretty extraordinary. And that's a very common occurrence with this work. So this is how you begin to deal with it. So then as you're dealing with it, you're going to go out into the world and it's going to be triggered. But this again is the thing that we talked about, where it's predictable. It's predictable that this is going to show up and you're not surprised. And now, because you're working with it every day, you know how to deal with it more. And then you use that new event as another opportunity to feel it more deeply and go into it more. And eventually, as you go all the way into it and you feel all the way through, you get to the other side and it dissipates. And that's kind of the deal. So if you're interested in learning how to do this for yourself, reach out to me. Join the free group if you want to just kind of like be a fly on the wall and listen and learn that way. All of that's open to you. But please don't pass up this opportunity to free yourself from pain that you've been carrying around with that sneaks up on you and haunts you. Don't pass up the chance to break free of that, because it's a very real and repeatable thing that you can take your top 7. It may take a couple of years to get through 7 different blocks, but at the end of, imagine at the end of 2 years, your top 7 blocks being gone. It's like, it's a different life, and it reveals the peace and the joy that's already inside of you. So don't miss it. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.